F124 Driver Career Season 2 round number 15, the Portuguese Grand Prix. Yes, it is the penultimate round of this season, and this is how everything looks going into this second to last round. Leclerc leads the way from Piastri with myself in third place. We are technically still in with a chance of winning this Drivers' World Championship. We are just exactly on the amount of points we need to just be in with a shot. However, we need Leclerc to not score any points for these next two rounds and for us to win and get fastest lap. So we are technically in with a shot, but it is a bit of a long shot. But hey, we will give it a shot. You know, we're not out until we're out. Looking at R&D while going into this race weekend, not really any changes. Haas slightly move up ahead of, I believe that is Williams, and that's really all that happens going into this one. And we get into qualifying here, starting off with Q1. Now this is a track that I quite like actually. It's one that isn't a main one on the calendar anymore. It's in the game, and I love that they still have it in the game. Then you can add it in, you know, from season 2 kind of onwards. I don't think you can add it in on season 1. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, you can, even though it's not on the calendar in real life anymore, you can still have Portugal in this game. And yeah, it's a pretty cool track, a very roller coastery track, you know, a lot of elevation change up and down, and a very all over the place track, but a fun one to drive. In Q1, we end up P7, just behind our teammate, very, very close there between us and our teammate, and very close between everyone, to be honest. Literally less than a second separating all 20 drivers, which is crazy. And it's basically one of each of the 5 slowest teams out in Q1. We then get into Q2. My first lap was pretty decent, putting us in P7, but we can definitely go quicker than that. Almost 2.5 tenths up through this next lap on the first 2 sectors. So yeah, going pretty well here. Like I said, a fun track to drive. By the way, sorry if I sound really tired and I'm kind of losing track of it during this race. I got home from work today knackered and actually fell asleep on the couch at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, so I'm pretty tired today. But yeah, Q2, no real surprises. The other 5 cars all go out. Actually, it was both Haas's went out in Q1 yesterday. For Q1, not yesterday. See, why am I saying yesterday? I'm just, what am I even talking about? Anyway, Q3 comes around. We're going to see the full lap here, of course, like we always do. And as we have a big moment through turn 1 there, lose a little bit of time. This is the second lap of Q3. My first lap, good enough for P5 at the moment. But yeah, a little slow, and that little wobble through turn 1 means we are just a little bit down on our best time on this next lap. But as Oscar Piastri goes fastest, we make a bit more time up through these next few corners, brake later into this corner. Once again, fighting the car a little bit there, but still doing pretty well. We're just under a tenth quicker than our previous time now. A little bit of a wider run into this corner, get better traction going through it, and that actually gives us a lot of time here. We did not have a very good run through that section on our previous lap, and we're now almost 2.5 tenths of a second up on our best time. And as we go down to P10, literally the slowest of all the drivers, we've made a lot of time up now, almost 4 tenths up on this lap now, as we've had a great final couple of sectors. We cross the line and we end up going P3, but it is Sergio Perez, my teammate, who gets his first pole position of this career mode, goes P1 from Charles Leclerc in second, and then myself in third with Oscar Piastri fourth. It is a great qualifying from myself, but an even better one from Perez. This is the first pole he's had this entire career mode, so good job for him. Let's see how this race goes here in Portugal for the Portuguese Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to Portimão, one of the busiest towns in the Algarve and a breathtaking destination that brings tourists from all around the world to the shores of southern Portugal. Today it's the backdrop for the latest round of the Formula One World Championship, and with a circuit this wide, we could be in for a lot of exciting wheel-to-wheel action today. So Portimao features 15 turns over the course of its 2.9-mile length. 9 are right-handers, 6 are to the left. This is a track with a lot of uphill action, which only accentuates the importance of getting those exits right, especially at turn 4, where a good line can present opportunities to pass on the way into turn 5. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. It's Sergio Perez on pole today, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Shaw, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Russell, Tsunoda, Albon, Sainz, Ocon, Bottas, Gasly, Verstappen, Stroll, Magnussen, Sargent, Joe, Hulkenberg, and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, here we go for the Portuguese Grand Prix. A few grid penalties for other drivers higher up means that we don't start any higher up, but there is some changes behind us. Perez does not get a good start off the light because he's on the medium compound tyres. As we go into turn 1, we go past him. Leclerc takes the lead, but yes, everybody else starting on the soft compound tyres, but Perez from pole position starting on the mediums. What is he thinking? What is he thinking? I do not even know. That is kind of ridiculous, which means that Leclerc has taken the lead. We've managed to get up into second though, ahead of our teammate already on this lap, which is in this race, which is a good thing. But yeah, have already lost quite a bit of time to Leclerc here though, because we had to go side by side with Perez through turn 1. Compromised us quite a bit around that corner. Leclerc just got an easy run through there. And it means he's almost 1.2 seconds ahead already at the start of this race, and he is really going for it as well, trying to get as far ahead as he can. And of course that is big for him because all he needs to do is score points, and no matter what I do, I am out of the championship. And he's got a pretty good chance of beating Piastri too, because yeah, I mean, he's quite a way ahead of him in the points too, so this could be a very big race for Charles Leclerc for this championship. As we come to the end of lap number 1, and by lap number 3, he's now 2 seconds ahead. He's just pulling ahead of us. We have managed to get a bit of a gap to Perez at this point, but we're not reeling in Leclerc. He's actually just getting away from us, you know, almost 2.2 seconds now. It's getting pretty ridiculous. Now, behind myself and Perez is Oscar Piastri, of course, second in the championship. He is behind Perez and is trying to find a way through, but at the moment, you know, Perez is kind of being protected by the DRS he has from myself, and Piastri cannot find a way through. Leclerc by lap 6 is 2.6 seconds ahead, 2.7 seconds ahead, and as we head through the first couple of corners here, my team tells me to let Perez go because he's quicker than us, and I'm going to go, you know what, let's just let it happen. He's on the medium tyres and he's doing better than us right now, so let's let him through. Maybe we can try and stick behind him for a bit, get some DRS, and maybe that can help us out in the long run in this race. Now, Yuki Tsunoda currently sitting P8 in the RB, starting further up the order because of grid penalties for other drivers such as Sainz, Verstappen, and Hamilton. And he's in P8, looking at potentially, what, 6 points? No, 4 points. Looking at potentially 4 points now, and he's doing a pretty good job at the moment. However, drivers are making their way through the order, Carlos Sainz being one of them, currently in P10, now going to go around the outside of Alexander Albon in the Williams and get that move done to get up into P9. Max Verstappen just behind these guys as well. So these guys, you know, they're looking at points at the moment, but it is going to be difficult to keep them. Now, lap number 10, as you can see, I'm starting to struggle a bit, and there are water droplets on the visor, on the camera, because it is raining. It is trying to rain here. Rain was not forecast for this race at all. There was no rain forecast, but now it's raining. Now, that was kind of crazy to me. I've never really seen that in this game, that there's no rain forecast, but it actually does start raining. And by lap 11, some of the AI are deciding that it's enough rain to go onto a set of intermediate tyres. So Carlos Sainz, the first one to come into the pits, along with Verstappen and I'm not sure who the other one was that came in with him. I believe it might be the Hasses. But yeah, these guys are Albon as well have decided to come in. They've decided to come in for intermediate tyres. And yeah, end of lap 11, we completely agree. The team is telling us, nah, come in next lap because, you know, Perez is already in. But we're far enough behind Perez that it really doesn't matter. So we're going to come in the same time as him. Go onto a set of intermediate tyres because I was really starting to struggle on those soft tyres. Piastri was right behind us. Perez had absolutely flown off up ahead. So we just have to give this a go. We're now 7.6 seconds behind Perez. So a long way behind him. And Verstappen is actually now the car in 4th. And Norris has managed to get to 5th as well. It's actually a better thing there for Verstappen than it is for Norris, because Verstappen, yeah, he started further down the order thanks to a grid penalty. Norris was running pretty high up. He's now right behind his teammate, so unfortunate that he is behind his teammate here. But yeah, Norris, who in previous F1 games for me always seems to do very well in Portugal. Like he's pretty much won every time we've come here in the past. Don't know if he's going to do that today, but looking pretty good for a good result today. Now, it's worked out well for the Red Bulls with this rain. It has not worked out for the Aston Martins, especially Fernando Alonso, who is now down in P13 after having to double stack with his teammate. He's now out of the points and is going to struggle. Yuki Tsunoda didn't quite work out for him. Not terrible, but he has fallen outside of the points now, but now gets past Pierre Gasly to get back up into P10 again. So he's still potentially fighting for some points. He actually locks up a little bit into that next corner, lets Gasly have another little look, but isn't able to make a move. So Tsunoda will manage to get that P10 position. Now by lap number 19, I'm starting to get into the flow of things on these intermediate tyres and actually now pulling away from Verstappen and starting to reel Perez in. So I was struggling on the dry tyres, but as soon as the rain was properly here, even though we've not got a wet setup at all, I actually was going quicker than the AI. I was going quicker than Perez. I was going even a little quicker than Charles Leclerc out in the lead. So yeah, so far it's not all bad, even though the gap is rather large. Once again, just having a look at Lando Norris here, because yes, he's still behind Verstappen, but he's up there in P5, and he's staying with Verstappen, just showing that there's something about Lando Norris and the Portuguese Grand Prix. He just loves this place and just goes so well here. The fact that he's still here with Verstappen compared to considering where he's been for the rest of the season compared to Verstappen, yeah, there's something about this track. He just loves it. Oscar Piastri is behind George Russell. He lost a few positions thanks to just how it worked out with the rain coming in the pit stops. The main one, you know, being that he lost positions to the Red Bulls, but also to George Russell in the Mercedes as well. So he's going to have to try and find his way back through. Fernando Alonso, his teammate, has a lot more work to do though. He's now got up the back of Lance Stroll in the RB, goes round the outside of turn 1 to put himself up into P12. Well, that is a start, but he's still not into the points yet. He's now going to go for the move on Pierre Gasly in the Alpine, makes him go to the inside. Round to the outside he goes later on the brakes and swoops around the outside for Fernando Alonso, and that puts him now up into P11. So he's almost back into the points now is Alonso. We are now 1.5 seconds just about to Sergio Perez. We can see him right ahead of us, and we've been going very well this last few laps. Our engine is starting to get a little bit worn here actually. Some of our components getting a bit worn, but it's not giving us any problems at the moment. We're catching up to Sergio Perez onto lap number 30. We just break the 1 second barrier with technically 4 laps to go here. We are now right here with Sergio Perez. We can definitely get second place in this race. Leclerc is still 6.6 seconds out in the lead, and although we're quicker than him at the moment, we're not going to catch him in this race. But as we slide around that next corner, we have Perez, our teammate, in our sight, and we're going to try and get him in these next couple of laps. There's going to be a battle between the two McLaren teammates here in Portugal, as we then go round the next left-hander, round to the next right-hander, and there's smoke out the back of the car, and we have a mechanical problem again. It's another mechanical issue for us here at McLaren and at the Portuguese Grand Prix. We were looking at P3, possibly P2. That's gonna hurt. That one is gonna hurt. We are out of this race. At least when we've retired in the past, it didn't look like we were doing very well. Here though, we were on for a podium for sure, but we are now out of this Portuguese Grand Prix.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It might have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level at the very top is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion. And it's Monaco go for Charles Leclerc as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
There's still a long way to go, but these kinds of victories and that kind of consistency is what it takes to get to the end.
Here come our winners now, a thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Well, that just does it for the championship. Charles Leclerc wins the Portuguese Grand Prix and wins the 2025 Drivers' Championship. He is world champion finally for Ferrari. What a result for Leclerc. He's had such a great season. That Ferrari has never been the quickest car on paper, but he has been so consistent and so quick that he's done it with one round to spare. Sergio Perez came home in second place in the McLaren. It was a good result for him, but we were probably going to get him at the end. And then Max Verstappen manages to creep up to P3 from P14 on the grid. Worked out very, very well for him. In the end, Lando Norris could not topple his teammate here in Portugal, but P4 for him is still one of his better results of this season. Oscar Piastri could only manage P5, which meant that he was not able to claw the points back on Leclerc to stay in this championship fight. As you can see, 48 points behind Leclerc with one round still to go, which means Piastri could not win this championship, so that means that Leclerc is the world champion. And yeah, I think Albon maybe scored a couple of points. Tsunoda scored a few more points as well for RB. And yeah, that is the Portuguese Grand Prix, and that is our drivers' champion for season 2, being Charles Leclerc, winning it here. What a season for him! But it's going to be a battle of the constructors in Abu Dhabi, as Aston Martin and Ferrari are separated by only 10 points at the top. So we'll see what happens there in the final race of this season. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.